parts of the meeting have been missed. And we did approve the flat rate of $700 to the Humane Society.
Terms to be worked out.
And terms to be worked out, guidelines to be worked out. What else did the camera miss? Oh, and the approval of the minutes.
Yeah. And then you started your discussion with Bill about ancient roads.
Oh, I thought you got everything.
Did you
well,
miss
a
the
little bit.
sheriff's department
And
too?
there was
Oh, I did miss the
a
sheriff's
quite involved
department.
discussion with Bill Jewell about the ancient roads and how to go forward with getting them put on the map.
And the sheriff's department.
And the sheriff's department is not going to,
Piggyback on the towns.
for school coverage.
I think it's you guys, right?
Yeah, we did a lot. We took
this mostly.
Yeah, we took the stuff off that the Conservation Committee put on that wasn't supposed to be on there.
Okay.
We spent, 2 or 3 months in here, 1 day a week, until our eyeballs were crossed, working out those old figures and whatnot.
Well, then I guess, so this would fall then on Katie to get this in, is that correct? And is that something that you have everything you need in place to do that?
I don't know. I'm being told yeah.
I think you do. I don't. That map behind you basically is what we have to send in.
Do we have a digital? I don't have
I'm sure Jeff has one,
Jeff
so you
would.
can just ask him.
So this map,
That map, the
because
disc.
I know I did this map way back.
Yeah. Well, there were some of the. We removed some of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was
All
going to
right.
say.
And so.
So Jeff
and-
has
and-
I want to say this was done in 2009.
Yeah. We
So
took.
if anything's changed since then,
Well, what's changed is we went and did all the research.
okay.
I mean, that was based on ortho photos.
I think a lot of those were based on the Conservation Committee, also that they just,
But I wasn't sure. I'm sorry to interrupt. I wasn't sure that these actually follow where they're supposed to be.
He doesn't care.
Why doesn't he care?
The,
'Cause you just want something on
the
record?
official map is not an accurate map. It just shows that there is something more or less in this vicinity.
so our letter would have to say, to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put that in there, that
Yep.
that these are roads that are in fact still in place and have not been discontinued.
Correct.
That's all we'd have to say.
Yep. And to support that, we have this copy of the ledger and a description of the roads.
But that's all on the CD,
It's all in the CD.
and that would go to him?
Yep.
That would
Copy
go to him.
anyway.
So I get the map from Jeff.
Yep.
The CD from you.
Well, you should already have it, but yeah, I can get you another.
Unless you can look.
Unless you did you give it to me already?
Yep.
When?
6 months ago. A long time ago. Peter actually made the CD.
So,
right about when he came on.
okay, so if you can't find it, Bill can get you another copy. I'm just concerned because I know.
And I'll be around
it's a busy time of
tomorrow, so
year.
just give me a call.
Okay.
I mean, I understand the importance of doing this in a timely way. I just don't want to sort of suddenly dump a new piece of work.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It should be just the letter.
So do we need a motion, or do we need to, is this just an informal action?
Say so, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion, unless you want to, Troy.
No, I'm confused, but
Okay,
anyway.
I'd like to make a motion that we submit to Jonathan Croft, who is the state's, give me the name.
Coordinator for the official maps, I guess.
Okay, coordinator for official road maps in Vermont, the record, the CD, the map of our Class 4 roads, including ancient roads that you've just researched, as soon as possible.
And Katie will draft a letter.
The letter's the important part, and Katie will draft a letter.
Letter to be submitted with the package, and will you authorize the board chair to sign it?
Yes. So the letter will be just an intro to what they're getting.
And you guys
To revise our
verifying that
mileage.
you are supporting
are ancient roads.
the submission of this documentation is valid and true.
Right, right. And this is really just, as I understand it, a first step in order to get those ancient roads classified as Class 4 roads, which we would then knock down to trails. Correct. Okay.
Okay.
That's what this is.
That's what, all right, I second.
It's like the first step, you have to build it up.
All in favor?
All right.
One of the things I think that is confusing is these roads go on the map. I don't think we're gonna jump up and say, hey, we put 10 miles of road on the map for you folks to drive on. I mean, that's. I
No,
don't-
you know that we're not going to say
We're
that.
not gonna do that,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, that's,
Oh,
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for a second. By putting them on the map as Class 4 roads, for the time frame in which they remain Class 4 roads, they are legally,
yes,
they legally can drive on them.
yes.
So if you have a road going through your property that is an ancient road, and you see a car driving on it and you flip out, the town will look at you and say, I'm very sorry, that's now a Class 4 road.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Well, in truth, it always has been Class 4 road, it's just
sure.
no documentation. And so-
Right, it's really
Sure.
just documenting what already exists. For example,
Sure.
I'll use the Bullock Road as an example. That when you get way far up there, it is almost impassable. In fact, right now it is impassable because there are trees down across it.
But that's a,
But technically, somebody could drive over that if they could get something to go over tree limbs. And that's always been the case. It's subject to gates and bars, so they would
yeah,
have
it's a
to.
pent road.
Yeah, so yeah, that has always been the case, really. And that's one of those.
But it's always been a pent road.
Yeah.
It was never assumed
No,
to
at
be.
one time it was the only road.
Right, no, I know
But mean,
that.
yeah,
But
But
say,
the
for
point
example,
maybe that was a bad
There's an
example.
old road that runs through my property.
Uh-huh.
If I was unaware that it was not legally discontinued, somebody could drive through my property randomly someday.
And I would think that anybody, frankly, who did any kind of deed work as they
Sure.
bought their property
Absolutely.
should know there's an old
Absolutely.
road on here, don't you think? Or not? Is that not the case?
Well, one of the problems with the limits of title insurance is it only goes back 40 years. And some of these things we looked at are from the 17 and 1800s.
But they're not carried forward in the title? There's not mention of them carried forward?
There's no record of them being discontinued.
Well, that, to me, that reinforces that they're still passable
Yeah.
in theory. So if
Yes.
there's no record of them being discontinued, actually we're in a better position than if there were no record of them still being roads, or if there were.
Correct.
I think in some cases, some of the ones we found were just not used anymore.
Well, that's okay,
And-
just as long as, I mean, Katie you knew when you bought your property that there was an old road on there, correct?
No, actually I didn't realize until after, but it was discontinued. So it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
affect me.
So
I'm
it
saying if
doesn't-
it
yeah.
weren't discontinued and I was
okay.
unaware
That
of
was,
that,
Okay.
it was an old road.
So are you still comfortable with that motion?
Yeah, I was just hoping that the road didn't go through the pool because I was gonna take my truck up through there in the next couple
Yeah,
of days.
it was,
Get your truck washed.
And I'll second.
We did.
I
Oh, we
did
did?
second. We've already all in favor.
Oh, we did that too?
You're back on those ancient roads again.
Yeah.
Gosh, I know, ancient minds in these ancient roads.
So-
I didn't say that.
So, yeah, and I think that it's less of a, what do I wanna use? It's not gonna be quite as complex as it sounds, once we get them on there and get them reclassified as trails where necessary.
I think that there should be a huge public awareness for all of those
Yeah.
people that this is affecting, that they should all be notified.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Oh, they will, yeah.
Absolutely, I
And
agree.
I almost feel like they should be notified.
No, I think it's okay to do this.
I think you ought to update your road ordinance before you do that.
Why would you be miffed?
I just would love to have known,
That you're,
as a property owner, that the town was doing this,
that the town was doing what?
that was putting them back on the map as a Class 4 road.
But they've always been class
I
4
know
roads.
that, but there's no real evidence, and if you're not richly knowledgeable about town affairs, then you would maybe feel like something isn't sitting quite right.
I have a hard time,
I do, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if I just owned, I mean, if you didn't know about this and all of a sudden the town said, oh, by the way, there's a Class 4 road that runs through your property and we're putting it back on the highway map, would you feel like, geez, I wish I knew that?
I think I would, a little bit, just because we deal with the vast people coming through all the time, and there are enough people out there that take a lot of freedom, you know. And I'm thinking of that road that ends up at my mom's and keeps going down and comes out right there at Jim Andrews, and I'd hate for somebody to just keep on going down there one day.
That's still a
But they have
class
every
four
right
road,
to
that's
right
still on the
now.
map.
But right now, they have every right to.
Yeah.
And they have, they will, and in fact, the town plows into Agnew's, whatever it is now, driveway. So-
Sure, but they're well understood as class 4. Most of what's going on isn't understood as class
Yeah.
4.
I guess I'm willing to take my chances.
I'm just,
Me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really am. I feel like, you know, if they don't know that, it's not like, I feel like that's their tough luck, because I actually feel if they had, for whatever reason, not been informed, I
Sure.
don't actually think in real life it's going to make any difference.
no, I don't either.
And
but-
speaking of the Bass Trail, a lot of the Bass Trails aren't even on old roads. They're just on,
Yeah.
you know, snowmobile trails. So we have those going all the way through our property, and it's not a question of them being an old road or not. But, so I think, I'm comfortable with it. And you can laugh at me when people say,
That's right. We're gonna do
put on your dark glasses, go back to the room.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
text
Bill
you
won't
all
be
the
at any more
changes.
meetings, so we're all right. Alright, highway, general update, we've escaped another big storm, we've done a little sand and,
Do you want to just quickly talk about the fact that we have an update of the town road ordinance? Katie
oh,
has,
that's one we did?
the one we did.
That's the one we did,
Katie
okay.
has a copy.
I do have a copy.
You can take that home and look at it.
Can I ask you a question? Does road ordinance mean that this is both a highway and the traffic ordinance? Is this a new?
No, traffic ordinance is a separate ordinance.
So we have the traffic ordinance, we have the highway ordinance, and we have the road ordinance.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly the road ordinance has to do with maintenance and repair, uses, classifications, that kind of stuff.
Classification.
That's not a separate
This
ordinance
is
right
the one
now.
we sit down.
It isn't.
The meeting.
Well, I don't know if
It's
it is or
part of
not.
the
No,
highway.
it is a separate ordinance, not that. There is a 2-page affair or a 3-page affair that this is an expansion of.
Okay, so this is neither the traffic ordinance or the highway ordinance.
It might be the highway ordinance, I don't know
Okay,
what,
it's part of
there's
the
a couple of
highway
pages.
Okay, I just
Part
need
of
the
the
terms, okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
this
this
does look like
is
other stuff,
the
yeah.
Vermont local roads format.
Sure, and so this is a draft?
Yep. The only thing that I know of that's not quite in there
This
is,
is some of the stuff that's in there.
So I'm thrilled, and I hope that we can pass this. My only concern is the language, that I think it's confusing when you have a traffic ordinance, a road ordinance, and a highway ordinance, because I never can keep track of which is which.
if you
but-
want to combine them, I don't mind that.
Right, well, we talked about that, and then it looked a little unwieldy, but,
Is the road ordinance indicative of standards for the highway?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's part of our highway ordinance.
Yeah,
okay,
It's
okay.
not it's
So
not a
do we
separate
want to-
document.
it's just replace your highway
I
ordinance.
think you're
Ah,
fine.
okay,
Or it's to
Augment.
be married into
Yeah,
the highway
become a
ordinance.
part of the highway ordinance, or
So
maybe
this-
be renamed,
So
whatever.
this has got all of the,
Like, it sounds like what you guys worked on, and I haven't looked at it yet, is a class 4 road policy.
That was the
trails,
part
road
that
and
we
trails.
changed the most.
In
From
here,
the standard.
okay,
Okay, we just followed the standard because it all made a lot of sense. We compared to what we had, it seemed like it was about right.
Because right
That's right.
now, all we have are regulations governing town trails and pent roads.
so we don't
In
have
our
any.
current ordinance, highway ordinance.
We do not have anything about ditches, culverts, and headers, for example,
We may have that in
or
there.
the shoulders, paving.
There is a small class 4 town road policy in our current highway
But
ordinance.
this is not class 4.
Yeah, it includes class 4.
Right, but it's
It
not only
includes
class
trails.
4.
that's sort of a highway ordinance right there.
So maybe what we need to do is just do our homework, read this, compare it to the highway,
Well,
see
it's-
where it fits in the highway and the.
It's gonna, our current highway ordinance is gonna have to be merged with that.
Sure.
Yeah, and it needs to really look something like that
I like the looks
because,
of this better than what we
Well,
have,
it looks like all regular
This-
town
remember
ordinances
the
that
line
don't
we said here
exist
with
in
the
Guilford.
model,
yeah,
and that's what that's from.
okay, perfect, good.
Yeah.
So do we, when we sit down and do our ordinance homework, which we are going to get through this job,
Mhm.
So that is one that's,
that we can.
should be
It
basically
looks
done.
for, yeah, good. That's the part of the highway.
And I should tell you that there's one piece that I missed, and I kind of did tell Katie, is that when either the town or somebody living on the road makes changes the drainage, and it goes over a different part of somebody's property, it should be in there that they get permission, written permission to allow that to happen. Because otherwise, you might wash something out and nobody will know why it got to be that way.
I've experienced that.
You haven't
I've
experienced
been the
Say that
neighbor
again?
who's been washed out.
It's drainage easements, basically. If you're gonna change the drainage pattern, you need to get a drainage easement.
But would that be in a road ordinance?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
And if it's not
it would be,
affecting?
Well, because there are specifications for upgrading, changing, moving roads. And if you do any of those things, you may also change the way the drainage works.
Let's go into that in more detail when we do that. And it would be
It was just a
a
side.
suggestion.
Yes.
No, but I think what I'm realizing, Bill, is because you do have a lot of information about this as we go through these ordinances, it'd be good to have your input.
Okay.
I think what you're talking about beyond the 4.11 are ditches, culverts, and headers.
Yeah.
It would be that statement in there about,
Yeah,
The-
I mean, if I did drainage work on my property, it wouldn't affect my road.
no,
Let's get into it more.
if you did drainage work on your property and ran it into the town
I'm
road.
just saying, no zoning. We don't have zoning in Guilford.
Just on your running onto my property.
Yeah. Well, yours would run into mine. Okay.
Alright, where were we?
We are on uniform municipal access weight permit.
Yes.
Assuming the general update for highways.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the equipment's all, one thing is that the town garage, you can actually see in there now.
Oh, yeah, you can.
They've put in the new lights.
Oh, good.
The lights are in, and boy, is it
Yeah.
ever bright.
When is the Gazette's coming out pretty soon,
I
right?
feel like it should be out.
Okay.
Oh, you know what, they're doing
March
it,
the 7th.
they're doing a stuffing party or
No,
folding
not
party
March the
this week.
7th, yeah. It's got.
I think it's just gonna miss.
Town meeting?
It's
Oh
gonna
my
be
gosh.
closed, don't you
I
think?
think so.
Okay, whatever.
It's gonna be closed.
Gotta give them worry about getting an article. That's too bad though, in terms of the work we did on the.
It's also, there's issues being written about the issue, so
Okay.
hopefully it will be out in just a minute.
Yeah, that's about it. I guess there's another potential storm coming tomorrow night into Wednesday.
It's a couple of weeks, that's all right.
No, MUR's got it up to 6 to 12.
Yeah, this last one's supposed to be 4 to.
Yeah, I know. Who knows?
Yeah, so.
We'll get what we get.
So uniform municipal excess weight permit, Pike Industries.
I'd like to make the motion that we issue a excess weight permit to Pike Industries with all the goodies on the roads and covered bridges and
All the
all
usual
the usual
restrictions.
restrictions.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I have
Fine. Oh, go ahead.
Before you go into that, I had one other thing. It's not under highway, it's just sort of, it might be old business. I am wanting to just remember what our timetable is in terms of appointing a lister replacement. Did we set a timetable?
We should have it, we haven't set a time, but we should have it by the end of the month. Not this month, March.
Okay, because a few people asked me about the timetable and I wasn't sure,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
As per, what's his name?
Sid.
State.
Sid?
Sigh.
Aye.
Said that, I made the statement that there was no hurry because, and he said, well, it would be better if you hurried because the training starts at the end of March.
And then the other question I had is some of the work that we anticipated wanting to get started on, regardless of a new lister or not, that we had talked about getting some people just to get started on the work, can we start that before then or not?
I think it might make sense to sit down with Lisa and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
And see what their needs are,
Okay,
and let them drive it.
I would agree. Okay, thank you.
I'd be happy to reach out to them and see if they wanted
That'd be
to
great.
get together with you guys.
And we talked about, because one person asked me about it, we say 5 to 10 hours a week?
It could be up to 15.
Yeah, Frank
But-
worked, but that was kind of a unique situation that I would guess is probably gonna
Because he was doing the bulk of the work, frankly. Okay.
So, not sure.
It was a dead end job.
Okay. So budget update.
All right. Finances.
We're gonna give a quick blurb that the only thing that we're really kind of might be out of whack for in the budget is health insurance. And the only reason is because of the change in plans for one employee.
Are you talking about FY13?
Current year, yep, just a current year budget update. Everything looks on track. There's no glaring issues. The only thing was building maintenance for highway, and I think that a couple of the expenses that have been put through on that maybe should go into capital, like the surveillance cameras. That maybe should get moved into capital. Some of the bigger improvements, bigger ticket items, and then that will take care of that. And tree removal is a little over. I don't know if we're gonna have any more tree removal.
What are we, about 3/4 of the way through?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Tree removal, not
Not
to my
quite.
knowledge, not until summer.
So it'll hit next year's budget. Okay, as long as he stays on track with that.
Unless something happens where that,
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
it's hard.
And I mean, it's not, in the overall budget, that's not gonna make a difference at all, but just by line item. So I just wanted to give a quick update. And also just a little point in reference to the town report. Barb Hunt came in today, and there were some, in her delinquent tax report that appeared in the town report, there were some items that were paid off, that the total that's reflected in there, which is 174,352,
Mm-hmm.
looks more like 127.
Well, that's a lot better.
I said to
Still
her,
a chunk of change.
Sure.
No.
it's a heck of a lot more palatable than the other though.
And to get back to an issue that was Troy's way all along, some of the ones that are several years worth, are those, is she getting any headway in those?
Some she has.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
I think she does a very effective job.
There's one in particular that if they didn't pay some every year, I would recommend going after, but they pay a little bit every year, and they just get further and further
Well,
behind.
I think she does a good job of combining
Yeah, she
compassion
does.
and
Yeah.
clear expectations.
Heavy and soft altogether.
Okay, I would like to make the following motion, that we pay payroll for 2/17/13 for $5,731.24. Payroll for 2/24/13 for $5,846.67, for a total of payroll of $11,577.91. Along with that, warrant number 15 for $22,733.62. For a total of payroll and warrant for $34,311.53.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
a few questions. Water line design for Stevenson Associates, is that part of the grant? Okay.
Conceptual.
And then Victor Johnson, is that work in the
That's
garage?
the
That's the
lights.
lights.
Yeah, and then the last one is just pressure washer. Did we buy a pressure washer?
Yes.
Had to.
Yes.
The other one blew up.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
And that was put through the highways, I mean through the capital.
Okay, thanks. Just those questions.
And it actually,
That's the one what the boys also use to dethaw the culverts and everything like that.
You know, that's what they gotta, yeah.
so that's an item that will go on our fixed asset list,
Right.
just so you're aware.
Yeah, if they have it outside, you want your car washed, well, you know.
Oh,
I wouldn't suggest
I
it.
was gonna say,
It
might not
will
have any
kill the
paint on it.
off of it.
But
I think that will be all the warrants have all three.
Yep.
thank you.
Communicate.
This one, wastewater permit approved. You guys have seen it before
Yep.
for the Weatherhead
Yeah,
Hollow
an
property.
hour.
That's it.
There is, you're speaking of the road that goes by your mother, there's a house going up in there, you know.
No, I don't know.
I recommended they come in from the Hollow Road end, though. Yeah. There's a transfer going on, they're gonna, yeah. He says he thinks.
Developer medication.
So I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.